Hello everybody, my name is Megan and today I'm doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be doing a Reddit video. Now, I've seen these videos on YouTube and whatnot, and I thought it'd be fun to give it a little bit of a try myself. So I wanted to start with a subreddit that touches my heart in a way that makes me sympathize with the people involved. Because I am doing the subreddit TalesFromRetail, and seeing as how I currently work in a retail store, I very much sympathize with these poor folks and the idiot customers they have to put up with. So the first story I'm gonna read is, customer tried to report me for no reason. I was reminded of this story during a conversation I had today, so I thought I would share it. Again, for context, I work at a fabric and craft store. Not only do I work the front registers, but I am also work in the craft department. Or, not really anymore, but that's another story. About midway last year, for the first time since I started working about 4 years ago, we reworked the whole of the craft. We pretty much moved everything where it is to another part of the department. So regulars and other customers, and not to forget most of the staff, who had visited the store before were a little confused where everything was, and rightfully so. So were we. For the sake of the story, I'm going to need to address that we stock a particular paper craft machine that can only be bought in my country from our franchise, unless you order it from an online store. All the accessories for the machine used to be at the front of the department before the move. Issue was, we were getting more stock than we could display, so all the products were moved into one of the long aisles during the rework to allow for more room, thankfully. In its place were going to be artist paint and calligraphy section. This is where our story begins. On a weekend morning, my manager and I are stocking the now empty shelves at the front of the department, exactly where the machine and accessories used to be. Whenever we are asked a question, my manager tends to take the reins. She has an unspoken rule where anyone who is working with her isn't allowed to talk to a customer for more than a minute, so that we're able to get everything done that she wants us to do. And that is also another story for another day. We hadn't had many questions up to that point. I've had to escort 1 or 2 customers across the department to find something, but other than that, we haven't had much trouble at all. About 45 minutes into stacking shelves, a couple approaches us. Lady: where did all the craft paper machine things go? Me: it's just down here, ma'am. I stand up from my position and walk to the main runway to point to the aisle. And by this, I mean I walk up to the aisle and indicate where it is, and they watch from where they're standing before returning. It's clearly visible with a large sign displaying the paper crafts machine's name, and has an obnoxious green color plastered everywhere. Lady: but why'd you move it? She had a disgusted and frustrated tone in her voice. I was completely taken back and confused about why she had gone from 0 to 100. Before I could respond, my manager stood in. Manager: we have more stock coming in, so we had to allocate a larger aisle to it. Man: but that's just confusing. At this point, the man angrily walks off. The woman follows suit, but muttered some kind of curse at me. Something along the lines of effing unhelpful biatch or what an effing joke. It was hard to understand, but I knew she said something along that kind. About an hour had rolled by after the altercation. I had no trouble with any other customers, and neither had my manager. We had moved another shelf to the front of the department's canvas. This aisle was in line with the pathway to the lay-by, which is where our store manager is most of the time. We're able to see every customer who lines up or any staff member who exits and enters. We aren't, however, able to hear what's being said. All of a sudden, I can hear hissing and complaining coming from the lay-by counter. I look over and, wouldn't you know it, the couple was standing there grilling the poor lady serving there. I should mention it was mostly the woman doing the talking. Although I couldn't understand what was being said, It was obvious she was upset, angry, and very frustrated about something. I assumed we didn't have a product she was looking for. The lay-by server had to deal with the bad news that the paper craft machine and its accessories were and still are quite popular, and at the time we had been running low on stock of some of the most popular products from the range. After a minute or two, the lay-by lady ducked into the office and came out with the store manager. Again, at this point I honestly thought it was the customer going over the top and complaining about not having something in stock. Because we obviously need to read everyone's minds and have exactly what they want in stock whenever they want it. However, it was only when I noticed out of the corner of my eye that the couple was pointing at me in the aisle did I know something was wrong. I instinctively looked to my manager, who seemed to have the same thought. She prompted me to continue stacking, so I did. A couple more hours passed by and the couple had left, and I had moved on to putting more stock in our wool section of the department. My manager, out of the blue, approached me and ushered me into the corner of the wool section, pretty much the back corner of the store. She said that she had been called into the back office and was practically roasted and interrogated. It turns out that the couple we had an issue with earlier complained to the store manager, and it wasn't about low stock as I had previously thought. They accused my manager and myself of not doing our jobs properly. Not only did they insist that neither of us had shown them the paper craft machine aisle, but an hour after the altercation, they had accused us of sending them to the lay-by counter to find out where the aisle was, because apparently we didn't work in the department. I was dumbfounded. What had I done to make them try to report my manager and me for doing nothing wrong? The only thing I could think of is they were highly inconvenienced that the products had been moved 2 aisles down. I'd love to know if any of you have had similar experience, because this was just ridiculous. Edit. For clarification, the customers had said that my manager and myself were very rude and didn't try to help them find the aisle they were looking for. As stated earlier, I did indeed show them where the aisle was. They accused us of sending them to the lay-by to ask where they could find the product, as well as claiming that I specifically said that we don't work in this department. Honestly, I relate to this post a lot because we get some customers down at work who, if you inconvenience them even in the slightest, they will try to report you for it, okay? Like, some lady tried to report me because I called her honey. No joke, literally tried to report me because I called her honey and she didn't like that I called her honey. It's crazy what these people try to get away with or try to get you in trouble because of. It's ridiculous.